Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Something wants your attention. That's what we're focusing on today. What needs your attention? So, the message I got from Spirit when I was just tuning in to what do you want me to tell the collective? This is a collective reading, by the way, for everybody. It's timeless, it's when you find it. What needs there? I've just kept hearing something needs your attention. So I'm shuffling the tarot deck. What needs your attention? It's like, nope, not that deck, this one. This is the, what is it, Work Your Light Tarot. And as I was shuffling these, one fell out, and it is take a break. Okay, take a break. What needs your attention? Take a break. Right, so it says, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. Now, there's some other messages wanting to come through, but before we move on to some other messages that need your attention, I want to clarify this one. So it's tea and tarot time with Julie. Grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever it is you want. Put your feet up, get yourself comfy. Let's have a little look what this is all about. Okay, so let's bring the camera down. So it's saying take a break, okay? Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. All right, let's clarify. I want 3, please, to clarify this. Oh, it's going to be difficult. Okay, Ace of Swords, 6 of Coins, and the Devil. All right, that makes sense. Well, it makes sense to me. Let me help you make it, get your words out, you, for it to make sense to you. All right, so we know that the Devil is an energy of working hard, perhaps working too hard, getting a little bit caught up in that merry-go-round of life, in that treadmill, on the treadmill. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Whether that's to do with your job, whether that's to do with helping out other people, looking after family, looking after your home and all the chores. We get so caught up in routines. This is a big one for me. I'm particularly strong with routines. And, we need to stop, breathe, question it, right? So they're giving me the example. I used to have this thing every single Saturday morning was clean your house morning. And I would clean the whole house from top to bottom every single Saturday. And that was the reset for the house. And then Spirit said to me after a while, like, it's a nice day, go for a walk. I'm like, I can't because I've got to clean the house. And it's like, you haven't got to do anything. Does it matter if it's done tonight or tomorrow morning or another time? Does it have to all be done in one go? What about just doing half an hour here and there and keeping on top of things? Change the routine. All right, now the Devil will say you can't, you're not allowed, you're restricted, this is the way it has to be, it's impossible. So it's that kind of thing. Get off the treadmill. Now, the Devil also talks about addictions. Now, many people, including me, like a bit of a glass of wine of an evening to unwind and relax. And we can start for that to become a routine. We start to associate it with, this is the only way to unwind from a busy day. No, it's not. We've forgotten how to unwind without it, and we need to remember. All right. So I want you to ask yourself, because this is a message for the collective of what needs your attention. I want you to look at any areas of your life with this Devil energy that where you feel beholden or restricted or ruled by, where you have to do something, because Spirit is saying, take a break, get off the treadmill. All right. So let's look at it from a different perspective. The Ace of Swords is a card of a new idea, an inspiration, an aha moment. How could we do it differently? What else can we do instead? How can we get rid of this Devil energy? Many of you Yeah, this is tough. I know. Many of you are looking after elderly parents or loved ones, whatever the relationship is. And you say, but there isn't anybody else. I can't take a break. My stepmom's doing this with my dad. He's got dementia that's getting more and more severe. And she's 81 now and she's absolutely exhausted. I'm like, look, you've got to bring in some carers. You need a break. You need to step back. And she is sorting that. But it can be difficult for us, can't it? Because, her answer on that was, oh, your father wouldn't accept anybody else except me. But actually, now she's got some carers in. He's like a little lamb doing as he's told. Probably because they got like uniforms on, so they look medical. And many, especially older people, as soon as you see any kind of nurse or doctor's uniform, you do as you're told. And I think all of us do to a certain extent. But whatever it is for you, they're asking you to find a different way. The Ace of Swords is very much about a new idea, new inspiration, coming away from this restriction of this is the only way to do it. And the Ace of Swords will say, no, it's not. There are other ways. Let's find them. Because we've got the Six of Coins here. Underneath this, take a break. Okay, so the Six of Coins is the card of receiving, for you to receive. That old adage about put your own mask on first, fill your own cup up first. We've got to look after ourselves. All right, so this message is coming really strongly through from Spirit of what they're asking you to pay attention to. Something needs your attention. So are you open to receive? Do you have enough space and capacity to be able to receive, or you're so depleted that there's no space, you're so exhausted? So by taking that break, even if it means go to bed an hour earlier than normal, leave the dishes till later or tomorrow. Is it the end of the world if there's some dishes in the sink? For some of us, there is, but we need to question why? Really? Why? So we're in that kind of, how can I release these restrictions and be more open to receiving? Yeah. So that's one message. They're telling me there is another one. So let me get the deck out. Okay, let's get a second one. Let's move them out of here then. Up here, out of the way. Okay. Right, what else needs your attention? It's a bit of a naggy one, isn't it? But Spirit's trying to help you. Okay, all right. Break the chain. Okay, right. Break the chain. Let's look at this one for a minute. Break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Break the chain. All right. What is the chain for you? Pause for a little minute and have a consider of that. Break the chain. There can be, and often is, patterns within a family. Well, this is the way we've always done it. So it's a kind of tying in with that take a break, isn't it? So they're asking you to have a look at the chains that bind you. All right, break the chain, rewrite the future, healing. What ancestral patterns are there in your family? What can you do to change it for you and going forward? All right, because generally each generation we try to improve on the generation before. So they're asking you to look at this. Let's find out some more. All right, so what is this about? Please tell us some more about these ancestral patterns and breaking the chain and healing. Right, we've got the High Priestess, we've got the King of Coins, and we've got the Six of Swords. There's something here they're asking you to move on from to break these chains. Okay. Now, is it about, they're giving me several examples here. A way of eating. All right, ingredients that you use. This is the way my mother cooked, or my father cooked, or this is the way we drank. There was always beer in the house, and we always have beer in the house. Or this is the way we've always done it. We've grown our own food, and we only eat homegrown food. I mean, it's not going to be all of it, but you get the picture. And that could be also where you need to take a break. If you grow all your own food and you can never have a break because you've got to water the plants and, they're going to die otherwise, and that's your food supply. Maybe it's time for a different way of doing it, put an irrigation system in or find something different so that you can have a break. How do we break these chains? What are the ancestral patterns? This is a bit of a deeper reading, isn't it? What are the ancestral patterns that you're finding that are asking to be healed? So how we do this, first of all, we're going to have to dig a bit deep, because the High Priestess represents what's hidden, right? What we're not looking at in an obvious way. We may be aware of it sort of under the surface, subconsciously, or a little bit, but have we examined it fully? Because what's going on at the moment, and will continue for quite some time, is that there's more light coming in, which is shining a light on things so that we can become more aware, so that we can change things, right? So the High Priestess is just that energy. It's saying, let's look deeper. Let's look at what's going on under the surface. Let's bring it up to the surface so we can fully examine it from a place of light, from a place of truth, and from a place of our higher self, our higher knowledge. What would our souls say? What would our higher self say? What would our spirit say? They'd say, what are you doing it like that for? Just because your grandparents did it like that. This is 2026, let's move on. We get stuck, don't we? All right. So let's shift. Let's look at what needs to come up, bring it up so that we can look at where we are flowing with prosperity, with energy, right? The King of Coins is Mr. Moneybags. But he's also very grounded, safe, and secure. This is a card of abundance, financial flow. So, right, this is a specific message for some of you. Break the chains that bind you, ancestral patterns and healing, rewriting the future. I mentioned it. I did more than mention it. I wrote an entire book on this called From Hoping to Having Wealth and Success, the new version will be out soon. That I was brought up, as many of you probably were, you have to work hard for money. You have to sacrifice for money. You have to stay in a job for life. All of those beliefs were my parents' beliefs, my grandparents' beliefs. They are no longer relevant in this day and age. No, you do not have to work hard for money. No, you do not have to sacrifice yourself. But if your beliefs say that you do, then you will uphold those, and you will, it blocks it. It blocks our wealth. So if we look at the table, because these are similar messages but focusing in different areas, take a break from what's been binding you, what's been restricting you, so that you can be open to receive, come up with some new ideas, and break the chain by allowing old ancestral patterns and thinking to come up, particularly around prosperity and what is safe and secure. All right. So that might be a belief, certainly we have in the UK, is around your home, that you should own your own home. Now, that's quite a new belief. Now, when I say new, relatively new, in the last 50 years or so. Before then, I don't know what the figures are, 80-90% of people rented. It wasn't seen as something hugely important. And today it's still not across most of Europe. The majority of Europe rents. They have very good rental agreements that give them security for years and years and years. And so again, why are we thinking that that is the way, that is the best way or the only way? Maybe it's time for a change in thinking in that. I'm paying, I think, 13 grand a year in interest on my mortgage, and I'm questioning. I just, hang on, it's whatever that example is for you. You're being asked to question it and to leave it behind. The Six of Swords is a card of moving on to smoother times, easier times. The grass is greener over there. So we're moving on. And when we look at these together, then we've got the Six of Swords moving on underneath the Devil of those restrictions. We've got the Six of Coins, which is the card of receiving, with the King of Coins, which is the card of money and security. And we've got the Ace of Swords, new ideas, with the High Priestess, when we allow what, those old beliefs, those old patterns, that old way of thinking to come up to the surface. We can see that actually that belief doesn't serve me or support me at all. And I can get rid of that. I can break that pattern, break that chain, and rewrite the future. So this is what we're being asked to pay attention to at this time. Where do we need to take a break, step away from things, get off the treadmill? Where do we need to break the chains and look at it in a different way? So let's find out a little bit more. I'm going to use the Lightseer's Tarot just for a bit of extra clarification. Tell me more then about the Ace of Swords and the High Priestess. 10 of Wands. See, that's lovely, because what that's saying is that as we think about it in a different way, we allow those old patterns and behaviors to come up and be examined, then we end the struggle. The 10 of Wands is the burden ending, where it's been hard and heavy. Am I living my lightest, brightest, best life? Or is there areas of my life that are hard and heavy that I can change, I can shift, I can do it a lighter, brighter, better way, right? She's leaving the burden behind and moving on to something better. So that's going to help you significantly, yeah? Let's find out some more. Right, so with the receiving, Six of Coins and King of Coins is money and flow and abundance coming your way. So clarifying this is the Queen of Wands. I love this particular image in this deck because she sat there with a wand aloft, looking at the light in her hand, that her fire, her inspiration, her passion, her excitement, her energy, that yes, I can create. Now, the main energy with the Queen of Wands is really feeling and knowing your own value, your own worth. I deserve this. I absolutely deserve this. And when I can think creatively, passionately, excitedly, then I can create this better flow, easier flow of the good stuff coming my way. But I need to know my worth. Now, the other thing with the Queen of Wands is she often does it her way, which is unexpectedly steps outside the box. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, she's got a black cat in front of her. And in those days when they created the deck, black cats were seen as bad news. And she didn't care. She liked the cat. I'm doing it my way. It's following your own sense of what feels right for you, your own sense of agency, your own sense of this, I'm doing it because I believe in me. So it's a beautiful energy that's very empowering. She's also very passionate about being assertive. She's not a walkover, and she stands in her power. So they're saying, stand in your power to make this happen. So let's look at the Devil and the Six of Swords. So the Devil is your restrictions. The Six of Swords is we're leaving them behind. And so what's the advice on that? Judgment. Rise up and release. I mean, look at this card, just rising up and releasing those restrictions. The Judgment card is a rebirth. It's a resetting. It's a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's I am releasing anything and everything that I'm done with, that's no longer relevant for me. I'm ready to move on to something lighter. It's unrestricted, isn't it? Absolutely. Light as a feather and unrestricted. So I want you to make that your mantra. I am unrestricted. Okay. I am free to think in a new way, to release the chains that binds me, to take a break, to find a better way, to, by doing that, be more open to receive the good stuff that's coming my way. If you want to know more about this, grab my book From Hoping to Having. It's out now. The links are below. Right, let's get you an affirmation card. Key affirmation for the collective about what they need to pay attention to, please. It is now safe for me to love and be loved. Now, when we're talking about love here, we're not necessarily talking about romantic love. That's one part of love, one aspect of love. What we want is to love life, to love ourselves enough that we don't sacrifice ourselves because of some rule or restriction, or that's the way it's always been. I want to know that I am safe to step into my own heart and follow my heart and follow my guidance, and that it's safe for me to love others from that place and love myself and receive love. Because all of this, when we look at what's on the table, yes, whilst the coins signify money, security, stability, this can also be receiving love from a place of I know my worth and I know my value. So be in that energy, my beautiful people. Let's finish off with an angel card for you. All right. Final message. This is the Oracle of the Angels. All the cards I use are linked below, along with the links to my book. Okay. All right. And from the angels, you are awakening. Number 29, which is an 11. And we're not going to break that down. Okay. We are in a master number here. All right. The number 11 is about self. It's about self-mastery, about you being the director of your own life, being in command of your own life, and you are awakening to your own light, your own power, your own truth, and your own needs, filling your own cup up, making sure you're looking after you, awakening to you. All right, my beautiful collective, that is what I have for you. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.